Fuck is going on? Refresh, nigga. There we go. Boom.
What
Okay.
up, man? We back. We back. We
All
live.
right. We live. We live. We live. We live on the Keep in Mind page. We live on the Keep in Mind page. Make sure you check out the old content, whoever's out there. Let me share this out with people. Matter of fact, I'm not sharing this out to nobody. Fuck all that. You know what I mean,
Pero that's
so
even
all right.
Muhammad don't share it with nobody.
For those on Instagram, this is not Keep in Mind podcast. This is Ranting with Rich on Keep in Mind podcast. Just for the time being, I will be probably be transitioning these lives over to the Ranting with Rich page or rebranding this page. Just to let you guys know. But for those on YouTube and TikTok, what's going on? This welcome to Ranting with Rich. I'm here today with my boy.
Clout Jones, big clout without a doubt. Make the people screaming, shout. You know the vibes. We
I
here,
hear
we
that.
live. We came to thrive, and we don't jive. You know the vibe.
Okay, okay. That's a long intro right there. Cloud. If people don't know who you are, let them know what you do. Let them know where they can find you.
Oh man, I do a little bit of everything. You know, I'm an artist, recording artist, rapper, singer, songwriter. You can find me at cloutjones.com. That's my website. And if you spell it out, Clout Jones, DOTCOM, you have my Instagram page. Real simple. If you log into my website, I have my own streaming platform. All my music is there available. Stream it, like it, enjoy it, and yeah, I'm here. We just here to talk about what's going on in the current times, current events.
There we go. There we go. I was gonna say, for everyone out there that's on TikTok or Instagram, we are live on YouTube. If you type in ranch, youtube.com/ Rants with Rich, you can definitely catch us full screen. It's a lot the for your viewing pleasure. You know what I mean? It's a lot better on there. Just to let you know. But you make that call. Um, I'm gonna say I'm just trying to at least share this on Instagram. You know, I'm still trying to grow this Keep in Mind page because I don't
Yeah,
want
you
people
gotta do
to.
your thing.
I don't want it to fall to the wayside. You know, it could still become something. Still get monetized and all different stuff. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I do want to.
Whenever you want to monetize.
So first and foremost, you was talking about Maduro. They took Maduro. What'd you say?
They took away Sweet Plantain, man. They got him.
They got him.
Free Venezuela. Yeah, man. Free Venezuela, baby. You know what I'm saying? We might have a 51st state coming in. I mean, I think the United States of America needs a state in South America. You know what I mean? We need to be expanding at this point. You know what I'm saying? Since
Mm.
everybody want to come to America anyway, let's expand. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
And so if any other country felt that way, you wouldn't feel indifferent about that. You'd feel the same way, like, hey, if they got the power, let them do it.
Listen, every other country ain't the U.S. You feel me? Every other country ain't my country. You know what I'm talking about? Every other country ain't the big red, white, and blue with the banners and stripes and stars. You heard? You know
Okay.
what I mean? Home of the diplomats. You know what I'm saying? We
Home
ain't
of the
worried about what other
diplomat.
countries. Home of the diplomats. We ain't worried about what these other countries trying to do for real. We worried
Okay.
about what we doing over here, man.
All right, all right,
Big
all right.
U.S.
What's it called? But we can get back to that. But I definitely wanted you to speak on what you were saying a minute ago, so that everybody could be aware of what it was that you were saying when you was like, "Oh, Maduro, Maduro, Maduro." Because some people don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. But
But
Maduro means sweet plantain in Spanish, so I call them sweet plantain, man. Now, I mean,
you call it
we
sweet
turning them
planting.
into a we turning sweet plantain into a pack, man. You know what I'm saying? We rolling them up, man.
Got
Y'all
it.
know how that
Got it.
goes.
All right, check it out. So the topic that we want to discuss is what people on YouTube are probably seeing is the first topic that we wanted to discuss was are black mothers to blame for degeneracy in the black community? Now, you gave me this
Not even
topic,
black mothers, just black women in general. But
black women in
yeah, I did
general.
give you the top. Yeah, but I gave you the topic because I saw a video. I don't know if you have it, but I saw a video where someone suggested that a lot of the degeneracy in the community is supported by and upheld by to black women in our community, such as like, the gays, the trans community, the most violent members of the community, the guys in jail who are the black women dating. So it's like when you really look at it, he was bringing that to our attention, and that caught my attention. So I sent it over to you. I think you might be muted.
Oh, my bad. You sent that over to my personal page, right? Let me see if I
I
can send
believe
it to
so.
this.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can send it to this page right here so I can find it, because I would definitely like to see this video and
Oh, I know
see
why. I
why.
know why Big Bro said why. I know why
Huh?
Big Bro said why.
What?
I
Why
see
you said
Big Bro
why?
said why. Why is like, I don't know if you noticed, but why is like Jamaican pause. You know what I'm saying? Like you say something crazy, Jamaicans be like, why?
Who said something
So
crazy?
like I said, he probably saying why because I called him sweet plantain. You know what I'm saying? Maduro is sweet plantain. That's probably why he said why.
Damn, I gotta go way back to find that video after we had that conversation today. Shit.
Yeah, I ain't going front. Come on, man. I thought you had it in the archives waiting for the people there, man.
Nigga, I wasn't ready. You're right. No, but you know what it is? We be sending these fucking voice notes instead of just calling each other.
Facts.
It's really what it is. Is it the one with Thriller was about crack? Nah.
I don't know, bro. It was a while back. I sent it to you, and you was like, it was weeks ago, and he was like, "Yo, that's gonna be the topic." I said, "All right, right." But listen, man. All I know
Yeah.
is Venezuela. Listen, baby.
Mm.
Y'all already got red, blue, and stars in your flag. Come home.
Mm.
Come
What?
home. We need another state. We need another state. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, forget all that.
Come home, Venezuela.
Can you
It,
describe? Can you just
you just got to change one color to get your flag right, baby.
let me
Change
know?
one color.
Let me know what happened. What happened in the video that you saw that made you even want to ask that question?
Oh man, you would have to see the video. Like the guy was discussing different numbers and different things that's going on in the black community, and
I don't
it
see no
really
video
wasn't
from
me
you.
who brought it up.
What did you send it to me on Instagram or on did you
It
message
had
it
to
to
be on
me?
Instagram, either Instagram or WhatsApp.
I see one with Mike.
Most likely Instagram though.
Was it after you sent me Run It Up Soon? Because the last thing you sent me was a Thriller Mike
Yeah,
Jack thing.
it was probably after I sent you that.
I think it was on WhatsApp. Hold on. Let me see. If it was on WhatsApp, that's even better. But no, I will say that I don't agree. Yeah, it definitely was WhatsApp. It was definitely WhatsApp.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
All right,
All
yeah,
right.
man.
Let's pull this
Go
up
on
real
in,
quick.
play it. Let's see what's happening.
Let's see what's up. How many
Let's
wasting
talk
the
about
people
what
them time?
me. You come on, man. You supposed to be prepared, Rich.
Me, don't do
We
that. Don't
ranting
do
with
that.
Rich right now.
Don't do
This is the
that. Don't
Rich
do that.
show
Look at
right
that. Look
now.
at that. Look at that.
This,
Look how smooth I did that. Look how smooth I did that. Look how
this
smooth I
ain't the
did that.
Clout Talk show.
Look how smooth I did that. All right.
Okay,
Now,
there we go. It was Charleston White, and he blamed it was specifically gangs and LGBT, and he explains why.
all right. Let me pull it up. Remember, I gotta keep you mute yourself if you can, if
Say
you want to
less.
hear it. If you want to hear it, of course. Let me see. Where was it? It's not this one. Shit. Where the fuck did I put it? I don't know where I put it. Oh no, I don't know where I put it. Where the fuck did it go? Oh, it's right here. My bad. All right. You see it? You see it, right, Nick? All right, here we go. Oh shit. Didn't hear it on IG. My bad.
I fought black women.
I'm starting it over. Yeah, my bad. Okay,
Well, for our gay community, I don't fault white people for their white community.
Oh, you fault?
I fought our black women for our gay community. I blame them. Because nobody accepts homosexuality in the black community. Homosexuality and gangsterism. Nobody accepts this more in the black community than black women. Because most of their sons are gays or gangsters. They're not in between. That's why we stand up for guys like George Floyd and not kids like Tamir Rice. We support our gangsters. Let one of our gangster niggas get killed by the police. Let a good person get killed. We act like we don't even know nobody. Let a gay person happen. Black women is mad. Black women are the only faction of our community that treat the gay man like he's a girl. And she raised her son to be like the gay dude or the gangster dude she dates. So, they don't let the black man have access to his children. Soon as the baby's born, she gets named, this is my baby, this is my baby. In order for him to even have rights, he has to go through the government system to put child support on himself that ultimately restricts him and puts him in and out of jail bag mode.
All right. Okay. All right. My bad, y'all, for the mishaps. I'm still working this out. Still figuring this out. All right. I can't hear you. You muted.
Come on, Rich.
All right. What you mean? Come on, Rich. Listen, I'm being producer and as usual. You know what I mean? This is normal shit for me.
Pero no me no excuses, papá. No make no excuses.
Okay. So now, how do you feel about that video? How do you feel about that video?
It caught my attention because I think there's some truth to what he's saying about the specific topics we're talking about gangsterism and homosexuality in the black community. I mean, from when we was kids, you know what I mean? The girls gave a lot of attention and love and nurturing to the gay dudes on the playground. You know what I'm saying? As we get older, from we was kids, the girls gave a lot of physical attention to niggas that was thugging. To this day, niggas in jail. The average nigga in jail probably got more bitches hitting his line than the average nigga free. To this day, when a nigga come home from jail, they throw a party. I know dudes that graduate, start a new business, you know what I mean, do major milestones in their life, and they don't get the party like that. But even look at, for example, and I love Max B, right? But Max B just came home from jail. My boy came home to Louis and Gucci, this chains, this and that. Came home to music videos ready. Came home to everybody inviting him out the head, pulling him on stage, and it's like, a lot of that support you see comes from the women in our community. You know what I mean? They the ones buying the brand new sneakers and the brand new outfits for the felons fresh out of jail. Meanwhile, it's a dude right now, don't even got enough money for books in college, and nobody's helping him out. You know what I'm saying? But homie locked up, he got all the snacks, he got all the Funyuns in jail. You know what I'm saying? He got Jordans in jail, he got Timberlands in jail. My boy got all the fresh white tees, commissary bussing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, where is that support in our community from the women for the more positive aspects or positive representations of our community?
My question to you is, do you feel as though that's all black women or the majority of black women, or is it?
Obviously, it's not all black women. Obviously, we're talking about a particular stereotype, and we know the stereotype. We know the particular stereotype of black women we're talking about.
The sexy reds of the world and all that, right?
Yeah, you know, the ones that tend to get the visibility as far as the representation for black women.
Okay, now who runs the media that puts out this representation? Granted, I understand that they're putting out that representation themselves by allowing themselves to be recorded doing the things that they do or whatever. But when people have the other image that can be pushed, the people who run the media companies, do they want to push that type of image for black people?
You see what you about to do? I'm not gonna let you do it, Rich. I'm not gonna let you do it. I know what you're about to do. You're about to try to make this a media issue, and the question is about the women's actions in the community. So let's pretend there's no media, right? Let's pretend the TV don't exist, the radio don't exist. Okay. Let's just talk about two niggas in the hood. One nigga is a killer.
Why in the hood? Why in the hood? Why not?
When I say the hood, I'm talking about the black community. I'm speaking colloquially, right? I'm speaking colloquially. The hood is how I refer to my
Okay.
black community,
Okay.
right? So we're talking about two black men from a predominantly black community. You have the one who's a gangster, like criminal, shooting, robbing, stealing, drug dealing, whatever. Then you got the one who's a straight A student, focused on the books, right? 9 times out of 10, which one got more women?
I mean, if he's focused on the books, why would he be concerned about women at the time being?
You see, you're doing the bullshit, Rich, and you know
I'm
you're
not doing the bullshit.
bullshit.
I'm not doing the bullshit. That's real nigga shit.
I didn't ask you who got time for women. All right, let me ask the question more specifically.
No.
Which
If
one
I'm focused,
which one attracts more women?
okay, which one attracts more women? I would say that the hood nigga is gonna attract more women.
Okay, now let's say same hood nigga come home from jail. That same dude graduates from college. Who's more likely to be celebrated in the black community by the women? The dude who just came home from jail, or the dude who just came home from college?
Hold on, I want to see something. My frame rate is dropping for some reason. It's the minute I start. Yeah. It's because I'm recording now. I want to see if it's gonna catch up to it.
Pero yo mashing it up, reach.
Now I want to see if it can actually record while I'm doing this, so I can like start editing. Oh, Black join. There go Black. Yo, Black, what up, man?
He on YouTube, IG.
He on IG.
But I don't see nobody on me.
I stopped the recording. The recording was causing too much bullshit. I'm gonna have to download it from my YouTube myself. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
But yo, Black, what's it called?
Hey, yo, Black is.
Oh shit, OBS disconnected, reconnecting. Seriously?
What happened, Rich? What's going on, my boy?
The reconnection is successful. It connected back. I think it was a lot for it to try to. Huh?
Okay, well, I don't think it messed the live stream. I think it's still streaming.
Yeah, I don't think it did anything to the live stream either. But anyway, yeah. All right, so check it out. I like, all right, the hood nigga is gonna attract more women. I can agree with that 100%. I won't deny that. Like you can't just be like, oh, that's not a factor no more. Why do they keep saying this? Yeah, you can't just remove the hood out of the fact. Like you can't remove media out of the whole situation because of the fact that it's like that plays a huge influence on us. Like the media, what they push to us is what we often deem popular. You're removing a huge part of what black people often tend to get their trends from and all that. Like not even just TV, but like social media and all that. Like the stuff that seems to get popular is often negative stuff in the black community. Would you agree or disagree?
I think the stuff that gets popular in the black community is what women like. I think 9 times out of 10, if women like it in the black community, that's what's going to make it popping. If women don't like it, it's not going to be popping in the black community.
Okay. And so as a result of that, you're trying to say because women can have that much power, it's their fault that degenerate things are what's popular in the black community, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying that they're the reason or the cause, but I'm really just following up on what Charleston White said. Like, it's his claim that they're responsible for a lot of these things. So really, I'm saying, well, is this claim true? Like, can we refute this claim? And if this claim is true, what does that mean for our community? Like, because I mean, we're not having this conversation to say, oh, black women are fucked up and bad and all of this shit, but are they responsible for a lot of the degeneracy in the community, or to what level are they responsible? And like, what do we do about that if they are responsible?
You know, for someone who is often speaking about accountability and all that, right? Like, I get it. Women play an influence and a role and all that, either as a mother or as the gatekeepers of what's popular in black culture or whatnot, right? You said you feel like whatever black women like is what's going to be it, right? That's what you're saying. So
to a degree, yeah.
where's the personal responsibility in there where men make the decision not to act out or do anything like that, and they create what's popular? By the way, Cohen's Auto said that Nick has a point.
My thing is like, okay, I think men can try to decide what's popular. Like we can try, but at the end of the day, incentive is so much more powerful. So it's like, okay, like let's say I want to be like, yo, it's cool to not curse. So I'm like, I don't curse. It's cool to not curse, but I'm not getting no pussy, right? Then it don't matter because nobody is gonna listen to, like, none of the guys in the hood are gonna want to be like the guy that's not getting no buns, and none of the women are gonna listen to a man that they don't want to give the buns to. So it kind of boils back down to, it's like I could try to be as cool as I want to be, as forthcoming I want to be, but nobody really respects a man that doesn't move the women. And at the end of so it kind of goes back in that same direction. Like, do you get bitches? All right, nigga. Anyway, what you talking about, bro? Anyway, let's get back to these hoes, man. Like, you don't get no hoes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like Steve Urkel was cool as hell. He knew a lot of cool stuff. He ain't had a hus, bro.
Stefan Urkel.
But exactly, but Stefan came through with the big baggy suit, the Steve Harvey suit on some players. I mean, popping his peas. You know what I'm saying? And Laura was going. You know what I'm saying? Laura was going.
Let me say this. I'm gonna say this real quick. I think it matters. I think what matters most is the type of demographic that you want to attract. If you a nigga that's concerned about, oh, you get the most hoes, so that's why I want to rock with you. Yes, in the black community, that's what it's all about. It's always about who gets the most hoes. But that could also be like I've said it many times. Like, if I wasn't worried about trying to bag chicks growing up and I had a different mindset, I probably would have gotten to where I needed to get to a lot earlier in life than if I wasn't focused on this. So I understand what you're speaking on, and from the perspective that you're speaking on, yeah, 100%. This is more for people who are trying to live that more hood life. Like, if you really about your shit, you should be worried about being on your grind. And the females that are on their grind, you're gonna meet females that have the same mindset, who about their shit and trying to level up in life. You like, I feel like we concerned about chicks that, I feel like that's a concern for nigga. Like, you're not concerned about those type of females. The type of female that have that mindset, that want to deal with a nigga because he's that hood nigga or the nigga that bags all the phone.
No, you're right, but we're not talking about whether I would want that female or not. We're talking about whether or not that type of female upholds degeneracy in our community. So what we're really asking is, like, are the homosexuals that are coming from the community being nurtured and by the women? Are the violent members of our community being nurtured and celebrated by the members of our community? Because it's like, I can decide all I want not to deal with these type of women, but the community still, these women are still a part of my community, whether I'm dealing with them or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still a part of the community, and they still have an impact on the other young boys and men growing up in the community. And so, yeah, it may not have incentivized me to be hood or to be in the streets, but a lot of dudes are in the streets today. There's a lot of dudes sitting in jail right now because they wanted to impress females. You know, they wanted to be accepted by the women in the community as man enough. You know what I'm saying? And it's a tough position to be in, because a lot of men don't have, especially if you don't have a dad, you don't, like, just self-determine your manhood. A lot of times, especially men with no dad, they get their sense of manhood from what a woman tells them. You know what I mean? When your mom congratulates you for doing certain things, you feel like, oh, I'm more of a man. You know what I mean? When the girls like you for doing certain things, it makes you feel like you're more of a man. So it's like, if they make you feel like more of a man for being violent, being a criminal, you know, hurting other people in your community, that's what a lot of guys are gonna want to do, because they're gonna feel like, well, the people who give out the stamp of manhood, which is these women, they're giving out the stamp of manhood to the dudes who are joining the gangs, and the dudes who are going to jail, and the dudes who are robbing and selling drugs. They're not giving it the stamp to the dudes that are studying, being firefighters, and you know what I mean, being police officers, being you know, going to college and becoming doctors. So that's all. It's really trying to understand how it's impacting the community as a whole.
Cohen's Auto said, I think what's put out as popular is not always what's right for our community. And he's not, and that's where I'm more, I don't feel as though that's the majority. I just feel as though that's what's put out. Like, it's just like with the whole situation with the whole black people are so violent and all that, which we were speaking about earlier, right?
Mhm.
Now, in America, you could look it up, but from what I know, it's less than 1% of Black Americans are committing actual violent crimes. Like, out of the whole population,
Right.
it's less than 1%. But yet, go ahead. What you was gonna say?
No, I was gonna say you're right. It is less than 1%. It's just that in comparison, so like if you just look at it isolated, it's less than 1% of all black people, obviously. But then when you do it in comparison to other groups, it's a much larger percentage of our group than it is of other groups per person. You know what I'm saying? Like per capita, it's a lot higher.
Here's the better question for you. In
Right.
America, forget per capita and all that, just in general, because I think when people are dying, or children are being abused, or people are being raped, I don't think they give a fuck about the percentage of who's doing what and where. Who commits more crimes in America? I don't care about, because there's more of them or whatnot. Who's committing more crimes in America? Black Americans or white people?
If we're gonna go based off of the fact that white people are 70% of the population, then obviously the answer is white people. But
Okay.
We're talking about the rate of crime, right? So if
No.
we're talking about the
We're not talking
amount
about the
of
rate.
people,
I don't think the rate of crime matters to somebody that.
I think it
Hold
does.
on. I don't think the rate of crime matters to someone who crime is being happened to. If a crime is being inflicted upon you, I don't think you give a fuck about the rate of the crime.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. Right?
Okay.
All right, let's say you live in the hood, right? And you know that if I go down to this block, the probability of me getting in some bullshit is higher. Now, sure, there might be more crime happening in the entire community, but this one block has a higher rate of crime. You're going to avoid that block because of the rate of crime. Like, yeah, there's more shootings happening in the entire city, sure. But on this one block, there's a higher frequency of shootings happening and a higher density of shooting happening anywhere else. So that's something to be worried about, especially if you're the person who lives on that block. You know what I'm saying?
I get you, but can somebody say that, like, as a black person, you could say that about certain areas in like sundown towns or something like that, right? Or it's like, yo, you don't want to go down this area. They don't really fuck with black people. But Cohen's Auto said, I know men who don't like or can't stand what's popular and don't care about social media. They are focused on legacy and progress and family. You know, see, perfect
That's
example.
Cool.
And I feel cool, like,
but let's be honest. Are those guys usually those guys, right? And then nothing wrong with that. But usually those guys aren't leading the community. Usually they're kind of in the cut doing their thing with their family, and they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. But the people who are leading the community and setting an example tend to be from the groups I'm talking about. So that's like the double-edged sword of it.
So you feel like you feel like the hood niggas that got all the pooms is the niggas leading the community?
To an extent, because who do young niggas want to be like? It's more niggas. It's more young niggas that want to be like gangsters than there's young niggas that want to be like Ben Carson. Like, I've never heard a young nigga say he want to be like Ben Carson. It's a lot of young niggas that.
I mean, a lot of niggas don't want to be like Ben Carson because Ben Carson is MAGA. He's a conservative, and a lot of the black community don't fuck with that shit.
I mean, but the thing is, it's not about that. I'm talking about the position of what he does. Ben Carson is a surgeon, one of the greatest surgeons of all time.
Yes,
and what I'm saying is, I don't.
But that's not what he's known for anymore.
Regardless of what he's known for or not, what I'm saying is, like, he's not known for killing niggas. He's not known for robbing niggas, but there's a nigga in the hood right now that's known for killing, robbing, snitching, all type of weird shit. And there's niggas in the hood that want to be like him. There's niggas in the hood that jack what he does, like Max B, for example. There's a lot of people that want to be like Max B. But respectfully, Max B is a criminal. Max B went to jail for setting somebody up and robbing him. Like, Max B's, like, what he did wasn't necessarily a good thing or anything to be proud of. Now, I get it. He makes great music, which is why people fuck with him. But my point is that, like, Max B has more influence over young black men than a Ben Carson does. Max B has more influence over young black men than
I don't agree. I feel like it's where you are and what you consume. And I feel like it's what you consume. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Since I left New York and I really kind of just started looking into more different type of shit, I don't even really like, I don't know the new slang words. I don't know none of that shit no more. Since I had a son and I'm trying to get married and all that now, like, none of that stuff crosses my timeline no more. None of that shit matters to me.
But respectfully, we the old heads now, my brother. Respectfully, like people are not trying to like the people are
Okay.
not trying to be like us. Like respectfully, like they're trying to
Okay.
be like who they seeing. Young NBA young boy, that's who they want to be like. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Okay.
like that's cool that you're not any longer down for that, but you're grown. You shouldn't be still interested in that. Like you're in your 30s, bro. You out the game. But the future of our community is not you. The future of our community is 20-year-olds and
And I feel like,
15-year-olds
and I feel like there's plenty of,
14-year-olds.
I feel like there's plenty of them that's consuming something. I feel like the ones that are going to be the leaders in our future, because the actual leaders, not the leaders that they push in media, not the leaders that the hood niggas want to follow. Because let's be honest, the black kids that the black kids who are not focused on this stuff, the black kids who are actually going to be like become something in the world, they're not consuming that shit either. It's what you consume. Hold on. Let me read some of these comments though. Cohen's Auto said, "I'm not sure about that, Nick. There are a lot of role models." Journey Mom said, "I think young men think certain things are cool about gangsters, but if they have role models, then they aspire to that more." Cohen's Auto said, "The popular stuff is athlete and entertainer, and then there are always doctors. There are lawyers and doctors. You can't forget about them."
All right, name one lawyer. Name a famous lawyer that people want to be like right now. Name and a famous doctor that young niggas in the hood want to be like.
Right now.
Name one famous lawyer and one famous doctor that niggas in the hood is trying to be like.
Johnny Cochran.
These young niggas don't even know who Johnny Cochran is, my boy. Let's be real. Like, they don't even know who that is.
But that's what I'm trying to say. But that's what I'm trying to say. Are you trying to tell me that? Hold on. Come on. As a matter of fact, the legal lawyer on YouTube, that nigga, the black bald head nigga on YouTube, he's super popular.
You've heard young boys say the lead attorney. You're saying you know 20-year-olds. You're telling me you know 20-year-olds that say when I grow up I want to be just like the lead attorney.
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what, like, you want to know who they want to be like, bro? They want to be like Blueface. That's who they want to be like.
Yeah, when they're young, bro. When they're young.
Because Blueface just came home to hella yams. Okay, he came home to bitches. When he came home, Keke Palmer wanted to interview him. So guess what? Niggas want to be Blueface and get their face tatted and chase Keke Palmer around the house. I'm gonna get you. They not trying to be.
I think
the lead attorney, my brother.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think So do you like Journey Mom said it in the chat? She said representation and exposure does matter. Are you gonna agree or disagree that there's also a system that's not necessarily pushing those images of us in the media in what people consume? Yes or no? Like there's plenty of doctors and plenty of lawyers that we have. There's plenty of successful black people in our society. Is that what's being pushed by the media companies? Yes or no? I'm just asking you.
I would say not necessarily, but it's really, is that what's being consumed? Because the media is going to put out what's profitable, right? They're going to put out what people are going to consume. But like, again, like I said, on the weekends, the girls, the black women, they're not lining up to watch the lead attorney. They lining up to watch baddies on Sunday. I know. I listen. I know. I've seen it. They're watching baddies. Okay, the future mothers of your children, the future wives. They're watching baddies on Sunday. They're not watching the lead attorney. They're not watching Johnny Cochran. They're not watching a show about doctors. They're not watching real estate tips. No, they're watching baddies. Okay.
All right.
They're watching. Okay. They're watching the Zeus Network, my brother. Okay. And you know who the niggas they like the most on Zeus Network? The niggas that fight. The niggas that's in and out of jail. Okay. Let's just keep it 1,000. I watched 1,000 episodes of Pop the Balloon, my brother. Them doctors and lawyers ain't getting none of the huzz, bro.
Hold on.
The gentlemen's is not getting the huzz, bro. They popping the balloon.
No, that's not true. Plenty of the gentlemen done got huzz. Plenty of the gentlemen done got huzz because of the fact that I've watched. It's the demographic. The women that don't consume that hood shit, they don't want one of them niggas that's got the grills in their mouth and saying they a rapper or they talk hood, but I'm successful. I'm wrong. I watch Pop the Balloon every fucking week, nigga. I'm telling you. What are you talking about, nigga? I'm telling you. Hold on. Cohen's Auto said, I'm watching Zeus right now. That's horrible.
Exactly.
That's horrible. Cohen's Auto. Come
Exactly.
on, man.
It's Sunday. I know what's happening on the Sunday. Exactly. And it's all good. No disrespect.
What channel is Zeus Network on? Because I don't watch that shit.
It's one of them digital channels. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Stars, like one of them digital channels you get on your Roku and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not an actual channel, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Nah, well,
but I'm telling you, gang.
By the way, hold on. For everybody out there on Instagram, if you're on Instagram and you want to see the full screen, see us a little clearer or whatnot, please join us on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/keepinmindpodcast, or you can go on youtube.com/Ranch with Rich. You know what I mean? Either way it goes through.
See, Cohen's Auto said you got to pay for that, Joe. You got to pay for the Zeus. It ain't for the brokies. You heard? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, I can't see myself paying for that. I don't see bro. I can't.
Listen.
You know what it is? And no lie, Cohen's Auto, I'm sure he didn't get that for himself. So he's only aiding your topic by saying black women bring the degeneracy into the fucking community, my nigga. Because I'm sure he didn't get that for himself.
None of my homies ever asked me to watch baddies. Anytime I caught myself watching baddies or watching one of them black fight shows where the bitches put on makeup and wigs and start beating each other's ass, any of them shows, it was a black woman that introduced you to it, my brother, every time. Every single time. The only reason I know who Natalie Nunn is because of black women, my brother.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Instead of just pointing this out, because I feel like that's what every podcast
we love black
does.
women. We're not saying we dislike y'all or nothing. We just saying, hey, y'all like some shit that's a little negative for the community. Y'all tend to really like and support things that kind of hurt us. That's all. We love you still.
Okay. Now, all right, check it out. What I want to ask you is this: I feel like a lot of podcasts often just point this type of stuff out, but don't actually come up with any type of solutions or anything like that, right? Like that's usually the case. Like people will do all this talking. So you saying all this stuff, right? What do you feel, being that you feel this way, which honestly, you made very good points. You made plenty of good points. And Cohen's Auto honestly only helped you out by saying he's watching that shit right now with his wifey. So I want to ask you, what would you suggest as a solution to something like this? What would you suggest as a solution to black women increasing the degeneracy in the black community? Like what can be done?
I think that our ladies gotta start taking some initiative to be aware of the impact that they have on the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in the black community, I personally believe the black community is very matriarchal. And so, like, I think the ladies need to accept that and realize that, hey, like, a lot of what happens in the community is based off of us, like, based off of the decisions and choices we're making. If we're saying, like, yo, a lot of these dudes is not getting jobs and taking care of responsibilities, well, are you fucking the guys that do have jobs and taking care? Because look, if you're fucking a guy with a good job and that handles his responsibility, you're doing your part, okay? But if you not giving the box to the brothers that's helping the community and you giving the box to the brothers that's tearing it down, you part of the problem, baby. You incentivizing the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So go find you a nigga with a good job and some good grades and fling that coochie on him. You know what I'm saying? Make things right in the community. Make things right in the community. Put the coochie where it belongs.
You know, all right. Well, but all right, now I'm glad you said that you feel like the black community is more matriarchal than anything else, right? But you're also more on the thought of black men they create everything. I know that you don't call yourself red pill, but you know a lot of people call you red pill, right?
I don't know why they call me red pill. I've never espoused to be red pill. You know, I mean, I don't get where that comes from.
But you don't get where it comes from, but you're aware that people often view you as red pill, yes or no?
Sure. I'm aware that they view me as red pill, sure.
Okay, all right, cool. I just want to make sure of that. All right. So now, because of the fact that they view you as that and all that, do you not share the idea that black men, without men women would not be able to do whatever and all that?
Re-ask the question. I'm sorry.
Are no judgment gang. Oh, are you not of the? Are you? Oh shit. Hold on 1 second.
Pero no problem. Take your time. I have tequila.
I had to get my sound over here. Bring my sound here. All right. Are you not of the thought? Are you not of the? Do you not believe that without men, women wouldn't be able to survive, pretty much, right? And that men are the leaders. Men should lead. Women should follow. All that stuff. Yes or no? Because you said this before on Keep in Mind.
I definitely believe if we were in a technology-free society, I do not believe that women would be able to survive very well without men. No, I do not think so. I think that men are much better. Like it meaning like a lot of the things that men have built and designed, like you're talking about like shelter, cars, planes. Like if we removed all of that, the fancy clothes, the coats, the air conditions, the heaters, women would have a very hard time in this world. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Women would have a very hard time in that situation. All right. I can respect that. Now, how can you feel that way, that without men, women would have a very hard time and all that, but also feel as though women are the like purveyors, or the ones that dictate what's popular in our culture, if men are the leaders?
Oh, easy, because on a grand scale, I think males physically build the infrastructure in the world and all the things that make life easier for women. But on a smaller scale, the Black community specifically, I think the Black community is female led.
Okay. That I can respect.
I don't think the whole world is female led, but I definitely think the Black community in specific is female led.
Okay, got it. Coins Auto said, "Yeah, it's my wife. I got it for her. She enjoys it. Happy wife, happy life. Don't judge me. I can't admit it.
Happy life.
I can't admit it's not something to promote. It's entertainment. My wife takes care of her responsibilities. Oh yeah, we I'm sure of that, brother. I'm sure of that.
Listen, we sure that, but again, it like he said, it's happy wife, happy life, and that's the standard for most Black men.
That's not good.
Like like Black men ain't kicking down the door. Woman, prepare my meal. Woman, and no, it's not like that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's the other way around. Like women run the household in Black communities. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's the case in his house. I'm just saying women have a lot of influence in the Black community over what's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't want your daughter to be dressed a certain way and your wife thinks it's no problem, guess what? Your daughter's going to be dressing the way you don't want her to dress, and you're going to have to accept that.
And why do you feel that way?
Because I've seen it in multiple households. I've seen it. Fathers being like, I don't want my daughter dressed like this. And a mom saying, oh, it's not that bad. She's good. And that's the end of the conversation.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want her hanging with that boy. Oh, it's fine. He's a nice boy. Conversation over. Dad's the bad guy if he keep pushing.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to stay on this topic. I mean, you've definitely made your points as far. You've definitely made your points as far as how the women will definitely they play a role. I don't think that they play the only role. I feel like it's for what you consume. If you're a dude, if you're a dude that's concerned about
play the only role.
If all you're concerned about is getting chicks and getting women, and at the time when women are, especially while you're growing up, when women don't even know what they even want themselves, like even in the white community, wanting the bad boy is usually what happens with them too, right or wrong. Like there's plenty of white women who are not who are tainted just as much as Black women when they come into the like.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't say only Black women do it. We were just talking about Black women. White women do it too. White women bring a lot of the bullshit into the white community too. Absolutely.
Okay. So it's women in general bring degeneracy.
In this particular time in history, the influence that women have over the West specifically, yes, I do think they have a lot to do with the degeneracy. Yes.
Okay.
Obviously it's not only them. Obviously it's not. But I do think that women kind of guide in a way what men want to be. You know what I mean? Like, no man is gonna want to be something that's not successful with women. You get what I'm saying? Like, everything that you're gonna want to be in life, to some degree, is gonna be revolved around how it relates to a woman in your life. Whether because you're gonna want to be a provider and a protector for your
But
wife
isn't
and
it vice
kids or
versa for
whatever.
it? But isn't it vice versa for women? Like
I
if
don't know if that's the
men,
case.
you don't think I feel
Women
as though
often literally say that they don't do things for the approval of men all the time.
do you feel men do all the time? Men are always looking for the approval of women.
Absolutely. I think that's a known fact that most of what men do is revolved around attracting women or securing a woman. Absolutely. Like most of what men do. The type like you think niggas drive Ferraris because, like, sure, some niggas drive Ferraris, but the real reason a nigga drive a Ferrari is because he know when he pull up with that Ferrari, the husband's gonna be bopping. That's why he
That's
has a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you get a Ferrari. Like that, like the reason why niggas want to be rich, like niggas don't want to be, they want to be rich either for two reasons. So they can have hella hus, or so that they could be a really good provider and protector for the wife of their dreams. Regardless, that's still them being motivated by the woman. The woman has always been a man's muse.
I don't disagree.
So if the woman wants you to be a degenerate, you're likely to be a degenerate. If the woman wants you to be a man of principle, you're likely to be a man of principle.
Okay, all right. I respect that. I respect that. Now, by the way, we ain't got nobody in these lives, so we're gonna be talking to each other.
It's all good.
But I'm
It's all
definitely
good.
gonna be taking.
They gonna watch it later.
Yeah, no. Either way, I'm gonna take these videos and turn them into something else. You know what I mean?
Pero that's it. We're making content. That's it.
Hey, be that's it, but be that's it. You know. But what I was gonna say to you was that I don't disagree with you in the sense that I definitely feel like because Black people in particular are matriarchal. Like I just wanted to hear your take on it. I don't disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though women often dictate however a group of people will go, like whatever because they have vagina, and that's kind of what men live for the most part. You know what I mean? No, you and Cohen's auto are nobodies, but not nobodies, but it's not you. Cohen's auto's not in here right now. He dipped out. It's actually me and you in here. All right, Journey Mom. My bad, Journey Mom. And you're not commenting. You gotta say something. I didn't know you were still here. I thought it was me and Nikki here. You on mute.
Yeah, Cohen's Auto had to go, man. They was watching Zeus.
Yeah, he was watching something. I'm sure wifey was like, hey.
We wasn't cool enough. We wasn't cool enough. It's what wifey want to watch. You see what I'm saying?
Nah, it's all good, but
some ass whooping. We watching some ass whooping tonight.
Oh, you're feeding. She's feeding a little man. Was gonna say nah, but I do like this and for those on Instagram, we are gonna be making sure that we move on to the ranting with Rich page. So if you do catch this, please make sure you follow Ranting with Rich on Instagram. We will be going live from there. Well, I'll be going live from there, not me and Nick, but you get what I'm saying. Not all the time. It's gonna be different people. But Nick, since we on the topic, since we off that topic, right? I should say, since we off that topic,
yeah,
I will say I agree with you. I agree with you to an extent. I don't blame women. I just say I believe that they play a part. That's how I feel.
Sure, that's fair.
All right, cool. Because I don't feel like I can put something solely. I feel like there's a lot that play into that. Why is it that Black women often push these ideologies? I feel like it's kind of like just with rap music. But now that rap music is starting to decline in popularity and all that, I wonder what will be pushed on Black people now. What will be pushed on Black people now? Because things seem to be changing. The number one Black album, the only number one album that was from a Black artist this year was Tory Lanez, from what I know. If did you hear about that? On that
I didn't know
Spotify
that.
album?
I didn't know Tory Lanez's album was number one.
Yeah. Tory Lanez dropped he redropped one of his mixtapes, Chicks Tape 3 or 2. Yeah, fire shit. But anyway, you know I fuck with Tory. But
Tory's nice.
on another note, when we had first came up with this idea, I wanted to discuss. You got a cold, brother. You sure you're going to work tomorrow?
Got to get that paper.
I hear that. Got to get that paper and get everybody else sick with you.
You goddamn right. That's how I got sick. them niggas gonna get exactly what they gave me.
What's it called?
Because when I left work on Friday, I noticed I had a little scratchiness in the back of my throat. So yeah, them niggas gonna get they gonna get it right back. We all immune now. By Friday, we all gonna be immune.
Hey, listen, everybody gonna have that in their system, right?
Herd immunity. You know what I mean? Herd immunity. We ain't taking the vax.
So, all right, I wanted to jump into this. We were discussing the fact that the case of being a black conservative, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, we discussed a lot of different things today, and a lot of them you made your points very well. I can't disagree. But I would like you to explain, you as a Black American, with all that you know, with all that you've heard, not necessarily that you believe, but with all that you heard by the Trump administration and they're racist and blah 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 blah. Why is it that you are a Black a Black conservative?
Well, being a conservative just aligns with the way I was raised in general. Just like a lot of the ideas I've been raised with as a Black man. I feel like the conservative ideals are more in line with that. Like when I look at like I always thought when I was younger that I was Democrat, like, you know what I mean? But then when I started looking at what the actual ideals of the Democratic Party are, or what the liberal ideals were, it's like, for me, it started to seem like on the outside, they're for the betterment of all people. But it seems like really that, to me, it seems like that's really a front for like wanting to control people. So we say, hey guys, we want what's best for you so that we can put you in a position where we control you. Whereas all of the ideals of freedom that I've known to love America for seem to be the ideas that are espoused by the conservative side. You know what I mean? I also feel as though, from my perspective, it seems as though the conservative side actually has principles. And it seems like the liberal side just has counter principles. So it's like, it doesn't seem like liberals actually have a platform that they're standing on. It seems like the platform is whatever is the opposite of what conservatives are doing. So if conservatives say, we want to close up the border, oh no, we want open border. Even if 5 years prior, liberals were saying that they want to close the border, it seems as though the policy of today is always the opposite of what conservatives do. And for me, I just don't feel secure with that type of ideology, because that means it's always changing to be the opposite of what someone else is. And it's like, I don't want to live my life in opposition to someone else. I want to live my life standing on my personal principles. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like a lot of things on the left I can't rock with, like surgeries on children. You know, like I don't rock with surgeries on children.
What do you mean surgeries on children? What kind of surgeries?
Like gender affirming care. Like the liberal side seems to be very pro gender affirming care, which has to do with what was basically, in my opinion, genital mutilation of children. I think that's grooming of children. You know, I always constantly hear that the Republican Party is the party of the wealthy, but then you look at all the educated and wealthy people are Democrats. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, is the conservative side really the side of the elites, when all of the people in academia, all of the people in upper echelon, like people in academia, which are considered the elite class of people in America, the majority of them are on the liberal side. So it's like, on my end, it seems a little odd. You know what I mean? Like, and so like the conservative side just aligns with everything that I'm aligned with. I believe in God, Jesus Christ. Conservative side is pro that. I'm pro-life. Conservative side is pro-life. I'm pro-limited government. I feel as though the bigger the government gets, the more resources they take from their people, and the more they try to oppress their people. So to me, I want a limited government. I want liberty to be my decision, my choice. I don't want the government regulating the way I do business. I don't want the government getting involved in my day-to-day. And so conservative side is for limited government.
So you don't feel as though what this current administration has been doing gets involved in people's day-to-day life at all?
In what way?
In what way? For example,
what specifically? What policy do you think
your
gets
day-to-day life.
involved in
If you want to get an abortion, that's something that you no longer have the right to make your decision on, correct?
That's not true. It's not that it's
If you,
something that
what
you
do you
no
mean that's not
longer have the
true?
right to
And so,
do.
depending on the state you live in, like Arizona,
Depending on the state you live in. So what the federal government did was actually the federal government said that we overreached by making a determination on the state's rights to make a decision about abortion. So what they did was the reason why they stepped back from Roe versus Wade. You're talking about Roe versus Wade, right?
the repeal of it, yes.
The repeal of it, yes. The reason why they repealed it is because from their perspective is the federal government never had the right in the first place to make that decision. That was a decision that's supposed to be left to the states. And every state has a different ideology. So each state gets to make the decision on whether or not they want abortion to be legal or illegal in their state. And so you as a voter, you get to participate in your state elections and pick representatives that represent what you believe in. And so that's all based off of your state. So I feel like, again, if you don't like the rules of your state, you can move states.
Okay, now if I'm somebody who enjoys, if I'm a history buff and I enjoy looking into Black history and all that, can I go to the Smithsonian and still look up the Black exhibits that I used to anymore?
Which Black exhibits? What specific?
The ones
Black
that were
exhibits
removed. The ones that were removed by the Trump administration. Oh, if I want to look up all the Black people who contributed to the military efforts throughout America's history, and now that it's gone, that's part of my day-to-day life. I enjoy doing stuff like that.
Is that information gone from history, or is that information just gone from a specific location?
I mean, it's going off of the Library of Congress. It's going from records that you can find, like when you go to what's it called? Hold on, let me make sure that
I'm sure there's a lot of things written by white people that are also not in the Library of Congress, right? So what I'm saying is there's a lot of things that aren't in the Library of Congress.
No, but they're removing all of the stuff for Black people.
I don't believe everything that a Black person ever wrote has been removed from the Library of Congress, Rich. I don't even think you can prove that.
I know. I didn't say every. No, I don't think it's happened yet. I don't think it's happened yet.
I believe a few titles that have been written by Black people have been removed.
They're trying to remove. Hold on. They're trying to remove anything about. All right. Trump has said that he doesn't like that these museums make people want to hate America or hate white Americans for what happened in slavery. So they're removing the history of what happened during slavery. They're removing that, and you're okay with that.
I don't think that that's what's happening. I think that that's the way you perceive. I think that you perceive it as that, but I don't agree that that's what's happening. I don't believe that what they're doing is removing Black history. What I do think they're removing, I think they're removing the teaching of history and the way it's been being taught, and the way that history has been taught for a long time is that if you're Black, you're automatically a victim, and if you're white, you're automatically an oppressor, right? And so I believe that is the narrative that they're fighting against. I don't believe that they're actually trying to remove Black people and Black contributions. However, there are a lot of things written in history books that are designed to create division between people. That's what critical race theory was all about. Critical race theory was about the teaching of history in a way that frames white people as a whole, as a certain way, as always the oppressive force, and that frames Black people as always the oppressed force, as if Black people have never been, like as if the Moors never dominated Europe, as if Shaka Zulu wasn't one of the greatest warlords of all time, as if Mansa Musa didn't exist. So it's like, I believe it's a correcting of history. But that's from my perspective. I could understand why one might disagree with that, but I don't think there's any evidence that Black authors is being wiped out of history. I don't believe that's true.
Hold on, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, my screen went black for some reason. I don't know why.
I still see you.
Now on YouTube, my screen not black.
It doesn't look black over here.
Yeah.
It doesn't look black over here. Like for example, when schools teach about slavery, like they don't teach about, like when we talk about history being accurate, public schools don't teach about white slavery. They don't teach about the fact that they don't teach about the Arab slave trade. They don't teach about the fact that the white people, white women specifically, were sold by the Arabs as sex slaves for years, and the entire reason that the Slavic people are even called Slavic people is because they were slaves. They don't talk about the Moors enslaving Europeans. The only slavery they ever talk about in our American history books is the only chattel slavery. Most people don't even know that chattel slavery existed in other places besides America, because the way America teaches slavery is as though it's something that uniquely happens to black people, and that it's always white people perpetuating it against black people. And that's not true. That's not a fact. There are black people who have enslaved black people. There are black people who have enslaved white people.
It's not, but
there
it's
are
not the
white
same
people who
type
have
of
enslaved white people.
slavery. It's not the same type of
No,
slavery.
if the reason why you believe it's not the same type of slavery is because of CRT. That's my point. My point is that
because of CRT, because of, wait, hold on.
I'm gonna explain it. Chattel slavery did not only happen in America. The idea that chattel slavery only happened in America is 100% false. But the reason why so many Americans believe that is because in America that's what we're taught. But that's not the truth.
Can you name where you know chattel slavery occurred anywhere else?
Arabs had chattel slavery against the Slavic people. The Slavic people were in chattel slavery in the Arab slave trade.
How did they remain the Slavic people if it was chattel slavery? Because your roots are removed from you when you have chattel slavery. So
the reason why they're called Slavic is because their original roots were lost. Their Slav means slave. Their history, their people are named based off of their history of slavery.
Okay.
So all those people in Eastern Europe that are called Slavic people, those people were all enslaved at one point by the Arabs.
All right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. I looked it up. Like I said, I didn't say you were wrong. I just simply said, can you tell me when? So, historical instances of chattel slavery outside the U.S. Ancient Rome and Greece, enslaved people were considered property and could be bought, sold, and inherited. They were used for labor, domestic service, and even skilled professions. Arab slave trade, 7th century to 20th century. Enslaved individuals were captured and traded across North Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. Many were treated as property, similar to chattel slavery. Trans-Saharan. See, the Trans-Saharan and Indian Ocean slave trades, the Caribbean and South American slave trades, the Ottoman Empire. There have been multiple examples of it. Now, what I want to know is how often was it that they removed their history as well, though? You know what I mean? Like if that part of chattel slavery, because I feel like now that I'm reading it, chattel. I think now that I'm reading it,
history was removed.
Huh?
Right, but I don't know the specifics of how the history was removed. But I do know in America, like, because someone in the comments said, "Oh, you're talking about world history. We're talking about American history." No, in America, for example, most people don't know that the first legal slave owner was a black man. Most people in America don't know that there were white slaves in America in the 1600s. Most people don't know that because we're not taught that in school. Because we're taught. The thing is, people don't understand that our education system was infiltrated by Marxists, and part of the Marxist agenda is to sow racial discord in order to ruin unity in a country. That's part of their agenda. So when you look at the people who like ran the companies like McGraw-Hill that made our textbooks, which is the guy who ran McGraw-Hill was Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Like when you look at the connection and who he's connected with, and he's connected with that country, the blue country, who's also connected with a lot of Marxism. When you start looking into the history of all of this, you start realizing that the history is taught to us in a way that's designed to pull certain emotions out of people. So the history is not actually 100% accurate. It's propaganda. And so this is what the Trump administration is talking about when they were talking about critical race theory. Critical race theory is propagandized history. But the average American believes that critical race theory is just black history. So what they believe is that by removing critical race theory, that you're removing black history, when what it is you're deracializing history.
All right, now I'm gonna look up what is critical race theory. But before I do want to say to you, Slavic does not mean slave, just to let you know. It didn't come from an Arab word. It's not from them losing their history or anything like that. It actually is part of the ethno language. It like it's had the word Slavic. Slavic is something from Arab, from what I'm reading. Let me just read this to you. The term Slavic originates from the ethnonym Slovene, which was used by early Slavic tribes.
No, bro. I'm sorry, bro, but it literally says right here. It literally says right here on the Google. It says, yes, the English word slave directly comes from the name of the Slavic people because Slavic populations were extensively enslaved in medieval Europe, making their ethnic name synonymous with forced servitude in many languages. The term evolved with medieval Latin sclavus, which is what you just meaning Slav, which became the word for slave due to widespread enslavement of the Slavs by various groups from the 9th century onward, as noted in sources like the online etymology dictionary.
Well,
So
from
nothing I'm saying is inaccurate.
Hold on. Let me finish reading what I was saying, because from what I know, Slavic describes a group of people that speak a certain type of language or derive from that language. But let me just finish reading what I'm not countering what you're saying, because this is history that neither one of us really have a footprint on or anything like that. You know what I mean? So the term Slavic originates from the ethnonym Slovene, which was used by early Slavic tribes to refer to themselves. This name is believed to derive from the Proto-Slavic word slovo, meaning word or speech, signifying people who speak the same language, as opposed to foreigners who are considered mute or incomprehensible. Key points about its origin: Proto-Slavic roots, slovo equals word, Slovene, those who speak. Non-Slavic people were often called, I don't even know how to read that word, which later became Nemets, Germans. Historical spread. The term was first recorded in the Byzantine, which are Arab people, if I'm correct. The Byzantine Empire were Arabic. Yeah, I said that right now. I always say Arab. The Byzantine Empire are Arabic people, and early medieval sources describing tribes in Eastern Europe. Over time, Slavic became the umbrella for the term for the linguistic and cultural group spread across Eastern, Central, and parts of Southern Europe. But before we continue, I do want to read some comments from my boy, Mr. RGP, because I know he said plenty in there. He said, did I have an error? Did I lose the live? No, I didn't lose the live. No, I didn't lose the live. All right. He said, limited government by having control over women's bodies, that's overreach of government. If you don't like your state, just move. So having to understand that people just might like where they live, or it's just really hard to move. He literally moved the MLK holiday from the national parks. Just because you don't think something doesn't mean it didn't happen or it's not true. Being conservative means to... Hold on. He said, being conservative...
I can respond to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Again, this is what I'm saying, when it's a matter of people's perception and not what really happened. He didn't remove MLK Day specifically from the parks. What he did was the theme of the parks changed, and the theme of the parks specifically changed to patriotic holidays only. And so all of the holidays that are free are the patriotic ones, such as July 4th, Labor Day, Flag Day. People were saying, oh, he made his birthday a holiday. No, he didn't. His birthday's on fucking Flag Day. So,
yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's not that he removed black holidays. It's that the theme of these parks, of what the days that would be free, changed to patriotism. Because what is Donald Trump's theme? America first. Make America great again. So inconsistent with that theme, he said, okay, the days that are going to be free for these parks are the days that are associated with patriotism. That's the only thing that changed. But of course, people from their perception who want to see racism go, oh, see, Martin Luther King Day is not free anymore, so that's an attack on black people. When no, there's a specific reason that that's the case. It's not an attack on Martin Luther King. It has nothing to do with Martin Luther King. But people who are looking for racism and everything are going to find racism.
Can I ask you a question? What is unpatriotic about a black man that
Martin Luther King Day is not is about Martin Luther King specifically. It's about his birthday. It's not about America. His birthday is not about America in any way.
So is Columbus Day? Is Columbus Day still a free day for national parks?
I don't know. But
let's look it up right now.
I honestly don't know.
Let's look it up.
I don't know, but I mean, I would assume Columbus Day would be, because Columbus.
Why? Columbus didn't discover anything here.
Because Columbus supposedly discovered America, correct?
No, he did not.
Well, okay, whether that's debatable, but the point is,
wait, hold on.
The official narrative is the official narrative, not that Columbus discovered America in 1492. Is that not the official narrative?
No, he did not discover.
So what's the official narrative? What's the official narrative?
I mean, the real narrative is that Columbus went to the Caribbean, right?
I asked you what the official narrative was. What is the official narrative?
I'm about to Google it
who
right now.
discovered America?
I know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say the narrative that I learned growing up with because we're the same age. Yes, the narrative I learned is that in 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Yes, 100%.
That's okay. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? He didn't have a military parade on his birthday. He had a military parade on Flag Day, which happens to be his birthday. That's the point.
Hold on. So Columbus did not land.
Now listen, it may be a lie. It may be a lie that Columbus discovered the Earth. I mean, discovered.
So
America.
then what? So hold on.
Let me explain my point first. The point, though, is that the holidays were changed to things that are associated with patriotism. The official story, the official story is that Columbus discovered America, which would be a patriotic day. That's the official story.
No, they actually have corrected the story. They corrected it to now.
What's the official story?
The official story is that Columbus landed in the Americas, not America. In the Americas, because they consider that the Americas. You can literally Google it. Did Columbus discover America?
Yeah, bro. But all right, so who's the person that they're saying discovered America? Tell me.
Who discovered America?
Typed in who discovered America on Google, and it said Christopher Columbus is often credited with discovering America in 1492, but he was not the first. Indigenous people had been living in the Americas. But as far as the old world, which was considered
actually, what I read, I just Googled exactly what you Googled. It said later, Norse explorers like Leif Erikson and reached North America around 1000 BC. Christopher Columbus is often credited with discovering America in 1492 because of his voyages initiated lasting and widespread European exploration and colonization. They didn't say that he discovered America, bro. He's credited with it.
Okay, but like I said, the official narrative is the person who gets the credit for it is who? I didn't say nothing inaccurate. I said he's the person who's credited with it.
This helps me. Listen.
I'm saying that if he's the person who's credited with it, I'm saying that then that would count as a patriotic holiday. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
Martin Luther King didn't have anything to do with the discovery or building of America.
Let me just say this. So you're telling me it's a patriotic holiday to lie to us, to tell us that a white person or a person of European descent.
Hold on.
Let me finish my statement. So they're telling us like he did not discover America. He did not discover America. It's more patriotic to celebrate a white man doing something that he didn't fucking do than something a black man did in America. That's more patriotic. So when I told you earlier, Nero said patriotism is to hate black people. You disagree with that, but right now you're literally saying we celebrate a holiday, something that didn't even fucking happen, but we can't celebrate when a black man fought to get civility in America. That's what you're telling me right now.
But that's not what Martin Luther King Day represents. It doesn't represent a black man fighting for civility in America. It's Martin Luther King's birthday. And Martin Luther King was a Marxist. So it's like half of America don't even know the real deal about Martin Luther King, which is a whole nother topic. But that's why Martin Luther King Day is even a holiday. It's because Martin Luther King was a Marxist, and the U.S. government needed to make a martyr out of Martin Luther King in order to get black people on the Marxist agenda. But that's a whole other topic, which is probably too deep for this conversation we're having. We can talk about that some other time. Yeah, that's too deep for the conversation we're having right now. But what I'm saying is, like, we can't pretend that Martin Luther King. It's not like this was like Martin Luther King wasn't a politician.
You reading the comments?
I wasn't, but Martin Luther King wasn't a politician. So again, we're talking about the story of America. We're not now whether that story is factual or not. It may not be factual, right? Maybe Columbus didn't discover America, but what Columbus's discovery did mark was the beginning of what would be America today. His discovery was the beginning of that. The fucking Vikings came to North America, but the Vikings didn't establish the beginnings of what would be the United States. That's not what they established.
Meaning the Vikings didn't come here and.
No, they didn't come here to establish a new nation.
Let's talk about what Columbus did. Since we're speaking about Columbus, you're referring to Columbus. Right. What Columbus did was go to a country, enslave the people there, and I know you're fine with stuff like that. It's conquest. If they won, they won. We got bigger guns.
Where is the evidence that Columbus enslaved anybody?
Where's the evidence that Columbus enslaved anybody? All right,
who did Columbus enslave?
Did Columbus enslave anyone?
Where do we hear that? I didn't know Columbus was a slave trader. I never heard that.
Columbus' quest for gold on Christopher Columbus' second voyage to the Americas. He enslaved the indigenous people and forced them to mine for gold. On his first day in the New World, he ordered 6 of the natives to be seized, writing in his journal that he believed they would be good servants.
So you're saying so hold on. You said 6. Did you just say 6 people?
No. That's the first day. That's the first day he got there. He enslaved the indigenous people and forced them to mine for gold. Then they mentioned his first day. Columbus started that whole.
Just said 6 indigenous people. Like you're making it sound like he enslaved all the indigenous people. He enslaved 6 people, right?
Hold on.
Is that what happened? I'm just trying to understand.
You talked about what Columbus started. What Columbus started was European people. So you're right. Maybe it is patriotism. It's patriotism to go to a different country and enslave the colored people there, which is what I'm saying. Nero's kind of right. Patriotism is, we're gonna go somewhere, take that shit over, and enslave the colored people that live there. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like. Like everything you're saying right now sounds more and more like patriotism involves doing fuck shit to colored people. That's what it sounds like to me.
If that's how you want to interpret it, and I understand
you said
why
go off his legacy. His legacy is doing that. That's what he did there.
I understand why you're interpreting that way because from your perspective, that's what it is. But what I'm saying is, the people who are patriotic, that's not what they. So again, if you're one of those people who's anti-American, right? I can understand why you would see it that way.
I'm not anti-American at all.
All right. I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying I can understand why someone who is anti-American would see it that way. But I'm saying is people who are patriotic don't view it that way. They don't see Columbus as an enslaver. Their image of Columbus is as somebody who established the foundation of what would be America today. So that's why they would consider it patriotic. Now, again, Martin Luther King Day is his birthday, and Martin Luther King wasn't even in the government. So it's like to compare Martin Luther King to Columbus.
Columbus was in the government? Columbus was in the government?
Columbus was an explorer. Like you're comparing someone who explored and discovered new land.
And discovered new land, not even in America. And hold on, Nick. I'm sorry for cutting you off. My bad. But you're really trying to justify a man that never even touched this fucking.
I'm not justifying anything. I'm simply explaining to you what it is. I'm explaining to you why it is what it is. Your interpretation of it is that, it's just to slight black people. I'm giving you a different interpretation. If you don't like it, I mean, you can take the interpretation and leave it. But at the end of the day, that's how people view it. Most patriotic Americans don't view Columbus as an enslaver. They view him as the guy who discovered America. And so when most people think of Columbus Day, they're thinking of the guy who discovered America. Martin Luther King wasn't a person who discovered land. He wasn't an explorer. He wasn't even in government. Martin Luther King was a reverend. That's what it is. He was a reverend. And Martin Luther King was killed, and he was a Marxist, and that's why they gave him a holiday. But that has nothing to do with the United States of America as a foundation. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I hear what you're saying, but you sound like you know what that sounds like when you say what they feel like. They feel like this is what Columbus represents. They feel like he represents patriotism, right? They feel like that. That sounds like just like the same logic that red people niggas say about your feelings don't fucking matter. The facts are the nigga was an enslaver that never came to fucking America. Those are the facts, right? Can you agree to that? Yes or no?
Sure, I can agree to that.
Okay.
However, my overall point is that people can be multiple things at once. Is that true or not?
100%. So he didn't discover America. So that's not one thing he was.
All right, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Which may seem like a silly example, but DMX. DMX to our community, right? To black people, DMX is one of the greatest artists of all time. But a nigga could say DMX was a crackhead, a fucking crackhead, a woman abuser, right? And they could say he was a fucking violent thug. Now, would that be true to some people who don't have an emotional connection to DMX? Obviously. But our community, because DMX is part of our community, we would never frame DMX as a crackhead. We would frame him as a God-fearing man who was troubled, who was a deep artist. And rightfully so, but he was also a crackhead. So that's all I'm saying. So yes, it may be true that he was an enslaver, and black people are going to view Columbus solely as an enslaver.
There you go. There you go.
Which
That's
is
my
why
point
I
right
said,
there.
which is why I said I understand why you would frame it that way. Because from your point of view, you're only seeing Columbus through one lens. However,
No.
I'm speaking for people who see Columbus through the lens you see him through, and for people who don't see him through the lens. I'm speaking from both sides.
Okay.
So
Now
I'm saying
you're speaking.
for the people who don't see Columbus through the lens that you see Columbus through, because you got to remember, Black people are 13% of the population. Black people are the people who are the most sensitive about slavery. Even though we're not the only ones to experience it, we're the ones who are most sensitive about it. And why are we the most sensitive about it? Because of what I told you earlier in this conversation.
Hold on.
Hold on, let me finish my sentence. Because of how we were educated about slavery. Black people were educated to believe that slavery is something that uniquely happened to them. And so whenever we hear about slavery, we feel personally slighted about it because we think it only happened to us and indigenous people. But the reality is slavery is not unique to Black people. Slavery happened to all people on earth. And because I acknowledge that, I don't feel personally slighted by slavery because I know it's not something that only happened to me. I know it's something that happened to everyone.
Okay. Now, I hear everything that you're saying and all that, bro. I cannot view someone as a reason to celebrate patriotism in my country if they didn't do shit in my country. Did they start the discovery? No. There were people discovering the. Hold on.
Oh, that's a reasonable opinion.
Oh, that's not a reasonable opinion. It's a fact. We just mentioned the
No,
Vikings.
it's a reasonable
Francisco
opinion for you to
Pizarro.
have.
Huh?
No, but my point is that it's a reasonable opinion for you to have, but you're not the president, so you're not the person making this decision.
So no, I'm getting somewhere. I'm going somewhere. You're proving my point in the sense that because we're only 13% of the population and white people make up 70% of the population, if to them enslaving Black people because they understand that plenty of people have been enslaved, but they're the majority in this country, you're proving my point that patriotism to them is basically saying we're okay with fuck shit happening to colored people. Like you said,
Rich,
they don't even view it as that. They view him as the discoverer and all that.
Believe me, Rich, if white people wanted us to be slaves, bro, we would be. Like, you may not believe that.
I'm not talking about right now. I'm not talking about that right now.
No, I'm just saying because I just have to put that out there because it's like, because it seems to be this narrative that white people want us to be slaves and their patriotism is fucked up stuff happened to Black people. If patriotism was about enslaving Black people, we would all be slaves. Trust me, because they have the manpower and the guns to do it. Like, let's not pretend that white people are not 70% of the population and we're not 13. If they wanted to round us up and make us slaves again, they could do it overnight. And trust me, my nigga, there's nothing we'd be able to do to stop it. There's nothing we'd be able to do to stop it.
I don't disagree with you. And I think that the reason that something like that isn't done, outside of the fact that there's some people who have some type of humanity and civility within them, I think the other factor is the fact that we are the consumers of this country. You do know how much this like you can. I think they did some type of study where if they removed all the Black people out of America, what the fuck would happen to America? Like, you are aware that just like back in the day, they didn't. You know, like, perfect example.
So you're trying to tell me you think Black people have more spending power in America than white people? That's what you think?
I'm not thinking that we have more spending power. I think we spend more of our money.
Brother.
I think we spend more of our money.
Hold on, brother. If you believe that, brother, Black people. I just said
I don't believe that.
No, but hold on, just hear me out. Black people, our money can't even keep hip hop afloat, and hip hop is our music. Hip hop, the only reason hip hop is still afloat is because white people buy it. So if you really think they need us to buy shit, you're sadly mistaken, my brother. That you're sadly mistaken. They don't need us to do shit. Our money is a water drop in a fucking ocean compared to what white people have in this country. Like, again, we're 13% of the population. They are 70% of the population. They don't need our money. I
don't think Nike and all these companies that make all this type of money would be as rich as they are if it wasn't for Black consumerism, in my opinion. How often
you genuinely think that because you're one of those people that actually believes Black people are the ones keeping Nike afloat. You know how many white people wear Nikes?
I don't think Black people are keeping Nike afloat.
Black people ain't keeping Nike afloat.
I said they wouldn't be making. You heard what I said. I didn't say any of them would go out of business. I said they would be losing a lot of money from it. Like, and you said, and you said you said that
cost some money. Sure.
Huh?
Yes, obviously, losing consumers will cost you money.
Okay, and I feel as though Black people often spend more frivolously than other races, in my opinion. So that's why I said black people are considered the consumers in America more than anybody else.
Yeah, but black people aren't the largest consumer power in America.
Okay.
We are powerful consumers. Yeah, we do have a powerful consuming ability. We're not the largest consumers. At 13% of the population, not even close. We don't have enough wealth to be the largest consumers.
I don't disagree with you. I'll say that right now. I don't disagree with you.
So I'm not saying we don't have spending power. We have huge spending power. But again, like, so hold on, to get back to the Christopher Columbus thing, I can understand why you don't feel that's a patriotic holiday. However, you're not the person who's making the decision. You know what I'm saying? But the theme of the person who was making the decision was patriotically based holidays. Holidays that are about America as a nation, as opposed to holidays that are about specific individuals. So on Columbus Day, we don't really talk about Christopher Columbus. Columbus Day is about America. It's not about Christopher Columbus. Memorial Day is about America. Labor Day is about America. July 4th is about America. Like, Martin Luther King Day isn't necessarily about America. It's not. I love Martin Luther King Day, but it's not necessarily about America. And it's not like Martin Luther King's Day is not a national holiday. What changed is it was a free day for parks that niggas is not going to anyway. Do you know how few black people
I heard about all that
attending?
Stuff. I heard about all that stuff.
But that's another thing that be getting me. Let's go look at the attendance of black people in the national parks. It's like something less than like 10% of the visitors to all the national parks are black people. So why niggas want to act fake mad over some shit niggas wasn't visiting anyway?
It's not about fake mad. It's not about fake mad. It's just, all right. Let me put it this way, because as somebody who's a little bit more level-headed when it comes to certain stuff like this, right? And I like as much as I speak to you about this stuff, I'm not fear-mongering when I'm speaking to you, because I know you're not gonna necessarily succumb to no fear-mongering in the first place. You get what I'm saying? So you have to, I think it leads back to our conversation earlier about the whole cats and dogs situation. You know what I mean? You have to understand, it's like the cats are on some shit like, yo, why? Like, all we want is equality in this area. And maybe you can go into your whole equality conversation about equality is not real and all that, but it's
the only equality that exists is humanity. Other than that, there's no equality. Me and you are not equals. No man and woman are equals. No two men are equals. No two humans are equal. The only way we are equal is we are equally human. That's it. We have equal value on this planet as humans. But nigga, we don't even like the same foods. We don't weigh the same. We don't even live in the same neighborhoods. We don't like the same colors. There's no way you'll ever have equality. Equality is a way that finessers sell a dream to people that aren't that smart. This is what they do. They go to people who aren't doing that successful in life, and they sell them a dream. They say, oh, we're going to make you equal to the people who are doing successful in life. And that's what people fall for. That's why Marxism is so appealing to poor people, because the idea is like, oh, I'm going to get my fair share. What is your fair share of somebody else's belongings? There is no fair share that you'll ever get of something somebody else earned. Just because somebody else amassed wealth.
Hold on. You said something somebody else earned. Hold on. Something somebody else earned. I think that a lot of Black Americans, especially the FBA or ADOS or whatever, they feel, or even the descendant, the African people that feel as though their people were taken. That shit wasn't earned. You fucking bought us or conquered whatever, and then you force people to work for free labor. You can't lie. The free labor that Black Americans did in America, the free labor that Black people did in America is why America is the way it is. Free labor for anywhere is fucking one of the top things you can get.
All right, see, and this is another one of those things that people love to talk about, which is again bullshit. If you think America right now is rich because of tobacco and cotton, you're fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I don't think. No.
Let me finish. There was a whole Great Depression, right? There was a whole Great Depression where almost every business in America went damn near bankrupt. America's wealth, especially in the robber baron era, was not built off of cotton and fucking tobacco. It was built off of oil and electricity and energy. It was built off of banking. We're talking about J.P. Morgan. We're talking about Standard Oil. There was no slave labor during the time of American wealth. So this idea that, oh, we built America and American wealth was built off slave labor, no, it wasn't, because cotton stopped being a profitable industry when it was like very soon. Once they perfected the using machines to produce cotton, slaves weren't even needed anymore. So what are we even talking about? Like, the wealth in America mostly came from shit like oil and steel and fucking electricity. Like, that's where our wealth came from. Like today,
let me read something to you.
Think about it. The people who are still rich today are people who became rich in that era. The Vanderbilts, J.P. Morgan, Chase, all of those people got rich in that era. None of them people got rich during slavery. So why do people keep telling this lie? All of them slaves, like there are no billion-dollar plantations of cotton today. So we
hold on.
Hold
on. I don't think you're looking at it from a perspective that it was the base for what created the wealth for America, and as an economic power, as an economic superpower. It's the foundation of what allowed.
It's not gold.
Hold on. You can Google it. You can Google it or look it up on ChatGPT. Slavery didn't just enrich Southern plantation.
Slavery was mostly two crops: cotton and tobacco.
Okay.
And cotton and tobacco are not responsible for America becoming one of the great. It's the gold rush. It's the discovery of oil. It's the Industrial Revolution. Those are the things that made America a superpower. The steam engine made America way more money made America way more wealth. The invention of the steam-powered train made America way more wealth than cotton ever did. So, like, why are we doing this? Why do we keep talking about cotton as if cotton was the thing that made America rich? It made a couple people rich during the time. It made a couple people rich. And
slavery, the gold rush, or the Industrial Revolution.
Come on, like we all read history. More money came from the gold rush than ever came from cotton. We talking about cotton still.
All right, I just looked up which was more responsible for America's current worth: slavery, the gold rush, or the Industrial Revolution? Great question. Let's break down the impact of slavery, the gold rush, and the Industrial Revolution on America's current wealth. Economic role. Slavery was foundational to early U.S. wealth. Enslaved labor powered the agricultural economy, especially cotton, which by the mid-1800s accounted for over 50% of U.S. exports. Long-term impact. It created the initial capital base for industrialization and global trade dominance. Gold rush. It helped finance gold rush, economic role. Gold injected massive wealth into the economy, spurred westward expansion, and accelerated California's development. It helped finance railroads and migration, but did not create systemic wealth on the same scale as slavery or industrialization. Now, Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution transformed the U.S. into a global economic powerhouse. Long-term impact. Industrialization is the primary reason for America's current wealth, as it established the infrastructure for continuous innovation and global trade. Which was most responsible? Hold on, huh?
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was most industrialization replaced slavery.
Hey, listen, I'm reading facts, so I can't disagree with you. Industrial Revolution, which was most responsible? Industrial Revolution, slavery, then the gold rush. Industrial Revolution had the largest and longest lasting impact, creating systemic wealth and technological dominance. Slavery was critical for early capital accumulation and trade power.
Yes.
Okay.
Early capital.
So
what I'm saying
so it sounds like slavery still gave them the base. Huh?
I never said slavery didn't provide them with income early in America. But what I'm saying is when America became the U.S. we know today, meaning manifest destiny, we're talking from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We're talking about the wealth we have today. That's not from slavery. The wealth we have today, slavery had nothing to do with it. California does not exist because of slavery. The film industry does not exist because of slavery.
I would disagree.
Oil industry
Can I tell you why I disagree? Can I disagree? I'm going to tell you why I disagree.
You could disagree, but it's facts.
No, not fact. Hold on. What happened to the first, before slavery and all that, right? What happened to most of the first settlers that came to America before slavery? A lot of those colonies failed. Why? Because there was no free labor. If a lot of shit,
they had indentured servants. They had before slavery was legal. There was
even then,
servitude.
shit did not work until you had free labor. America had the fastest come up because of free labor, bro. And I understand. Yes, our wealth today is because of Industrial Revolution.
Well, keep in mind, it's not free labor. But they bought slaves. They paid for the slaves, so it wasn't free. They bought
labor. the labor itself for 400 years was pretty much free, bro. Yeah, all right. Pennies on the dime for the work that they got for it. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
pennies on the dollar, for sure.
Okay. Okay. As long as we can agree on that. Now, bro, you're
Yes.
trying to tell me that America might not have even been successful without slavery. It might not have even worked without slavery. So just like how we can look at things, just like you can say Columbus Day is patriotic because he started the bullshit that without even getting here. You can't tell me without slavery, you have to count slavery as well.
Yes. And what happened to slavery in America? And what happened to slavery in America? Since we still talking about slavery, what happened to it?
It ended.
Oh, okay, it ended. It's over. Okay, so we're talking about something that's over.
That doesn't change what I said. That doesn't change what I said.
No, because the thing is, one, you're trying to make
without it, I don't think America would be what it is. Can you agree to that? Yes or no?
That's the point I'm making. I'm saying that I disagree that slavery is responsible for where America is today. Slavery is responsible for America's early beginnings, but slavery is not what took America past the threshold.
If America did not have slavery, I don't think it would have got. If America didn't have slavery, I don't think it would have got past its early beginnings.
Listen, slavery wasn't even effective enough, which is why the Industrial Revolution came about, which is why they invented the steam engine, which is why they invented the cotton gin. All these inventions came about because slavery wasn't even as efficient as you're making it seem.
The Industrial Revolution was a way to what is it? Turn what the work that slaves did into more mass production. More mass production, pretty much. They started creating.
Yes, because slavery in the long term wasn't efficient. Why wasn't it efficient? Because you had to feed these people, you had to house them, you had to clothe them, you had to teach them to be able to communicate in your language. You had to teach them the jobs and train them how to use the equipment. That shit wasn't profitable. So slavery was not the thing that got America's wealth.
You're telling me slavery is not profitable. Hold on. Slavery is not profitable.
That is why the Industrial Revolution existed. Because slavery stopped being profitable. That's why they needed to build machines to become profitable.
The machine, sure, Nick. If we had slavery right now, you don't think it would be profitable to have free labor, even with all the machines we have right now? If they had somebody demand those machines for fucking free.
No, I do not. The reason why I do not believe slavery would be profitable is because slavery means you also have to take responsibility for the people that are working for you, which means you have more expenses because when with a job, I could just pay you and I don't have to worry about you. If I own you, I have to feed you, I have to clothe you.
What do you think? You think these niggas will eat fucking filet mignon?
My nigga,
what the fuck are you talking about right now, my nigga?
Bro, let me explain. I'm not saying that they ate filet mignon.
They lived in fucking outhouses outside, and they bathed in dirty water.
For a second. Listen, I know the narrative that you're used to hearing. Just hear me out for a second, right?
Oh, so you think we lived in good houses and ate good food?
Bro, listen for a second. Let me tell you what I think instead of trying to lead me into answering what you think I think.
All right, go ahead.
What I'm saying is that it costs money. They weren't eating filet mignon, but they had to eat food that kept them alive so that they could work. You had to obviously feed, brother. You had to feed them food. You had to feed them food that was nourishing enough so that they would be strong enough to lift all this fucking weight. These slaves wasn't weak niggas. None of these slaves in the field was weak niggas. So if you think that they wasn't eating and weren't properly being fed, you're out of your fucking mind. When you look at pictures of old slaves, them niggas was brolic. So yes, they clearly were eating. Matter of fact, if you look at the nutrition,
the Mandingos were brolic.
Can you stop interrupting me, bro, and let me get to my point? First off, in the past, they didn't even have processed foods. So the food that they were probably eating back then was probably higher quality than the food we eat today. Probably the food they were getting off the plantation, from slaughtering the cows on the farm, from slaughtering the goats on the farm, from slaughtering the pigs on the farm, from the extra crops they had, was probably 1,000 times more healthy than the McDonald's niggas eating on their lunch break right now. So yes, it's expensive to house people. It's expensive to feed people. It's expensive to give people medicine when they get sick because you need workers to keep working. So you know what's more efficient? Machines. Machines don't get sick. You don't got to feed machines. You don't got to house machines. That's why they wanted the Industrial Revolution, because it was more profitable. That's the whole point. Machines are more profitable than people.
Nick, you're arguing with me that free labor is not is less profitable than labor
That's
you pay for.
because you
That's
keep
what you're telling me
framing.
right now.
No, that's because you keep framing. You believe that slavery is free labor when slavery still has an expense to the owner.
Nick,
The
if the
person who
job you do
owns
right now,
slaves-
hold on. The job you do right now, hold
Oh my
on. You
God.
can't stop cutting you off. You just gave a whole statement,
Go
bro.
ahead, go ahead.
I was about to say, like, if that's the case, I'm gonna just let you talk.
But it's not. It's not free labor, is what I'm saying. You're framing it as free labor, but it's not free labor. They paid for those slaves. They fed those
in
slaves.
comparison to what in comparison to the output of what you're doing and what I'm paying for, whatever nourishing food you're talking about. Because like I said, I don't know. I've never heard of slavery thing. Like, yes, did it sustain them 100%? But to turn around and tell me you think free labor is less profitable than labor that they have to pay for is crazy to me right now.
No. That's not what I'm saying. See,
That's
you
what
keep
said.
framing.
You said it was
No. You said free labor. I never framed it as free labor. You're the one framing it as free labor. I reject the notion that it's free labor. So if you believe it's free labor, then
got it.
So yes. If it were free labor like you're saying, then yes, free labor would be more profitable. But in the reality, employing someone is cheaper than room and board, meaning it is cheaper for me to pay you a salary and send you home than it is for me to cover your room and board and have you living with me. It's cheaper. I can pay you $16 an hour, which will lead to an equivalent of maybe $100 a day to get you out of my sight and you not be my responsibility. If I own you though and you get sick, I'm responsible for the doctor. If I own you and you have to eat, I'm responsible for your food.
What if I'm just like, I don't want to take care of you? You can go to the wayside.
But the thing
like,
is, you wouldn't.
I'll get another
but
slave.
The problem where you're not thinking logically is if I need you to work in order for my business to function, I can't do that. I can't risk my employees dying and my employees not surviving when I need them to run my plantation. That's not common sense.
Hold on. I hear what you're saying. Hold on.
If I have a plantation and I need to sell my cotton, I'm not going to be having my plantation workers dying. I'm going to feed them enough so that they can survive so I can keep making my money. But if I find out that I can get 10 machines and I no longer have to feed and look after these people, I'm going to get 10 machines.
Nick,
that's common sense.
You're not wrong. Because slaves were property, they definitely were expensive property. You wouldn't want your slave to die. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that the output of what the slaves did vastly exceeded what they paid for those slaves and the expenses that they had, and putting them in a hole in a wooden shack in a plantation field. I think that room and board that you're talking about is not like they were. Hold on. That room and board that you were talking about is not like they're staying on at fucking Old Westbury campus paying for fucking room and board on campus. That food that they were eating, like I said, they weren't eating filet mignon. And to go back to the original point, Cohen's
House niggas wasn't eating filet mignon. House niggas wasn't eating filet mignon?
I don't think house niggas were eating filet mignon either. No. They might get scraps of filet mignon. I think they might get scraps. They might get scraps of it.
Oh, man. You see, and this is my problem with the teaching of slavery in America, because the teaching of slavery in America is always one-sided. They always teach it from one angle. And the angle they always teach it from is that black people are always being victimized and beaten and abused, and that the white people are always oppressors. But if you actually read nuanced information about slavery, for example, you read history that slaves actually wrote, you'll see that a lot of slaves actually had great relationships with their masters and were fed and taken care of very well. They're actually, for example, in New Orleans specifically, one of the largest landowners in New Orleans in history got the land because it was gifted to them by their slave master. So a lot of the shit but again, American history doesn't teach you about that. They only teach you slavery from one angle in order to radicalize black people and make black people feel as though they're oppressed in this country. If I always teach you that slavery only happened to you and slavery only happened to people that look like you, when it happened to everyone on the planet, you're going to internalize that trauma and believe that you're a victim when you're not. And that's the Marxist agenda, to create racial division in the country, to be able to infiltrate it and take it over.
And destabilize it, right?
To destabilize the country. That's the whole point.
Okay.
But that wasn't the reality of what happened.
So I hear everything that you're saying, Nick, and there's no one. I don't have, granted, maybe I've picked up some Marxist ideology from the Marxist the Marxist propaganda and all that.
I don't think most Americans realize how much Marxist propaganda is embedded into the fabric of American education system. Like, I don't think most people really truly understand how deep it is.
Nick, who taught you that Marxist propaganda was embedded into the American system? Who taught you that?
I learned that by studying Marxism.
From what? From whose publications?
I learned that from multiple places. I've learned that from multiple people. People like Thomas Sowell, for example. Thomas Sowell is one person I can use as an example that I learned that from. But I've learned Thomas Sowell. But I've learned that from multiple people. There's a guy named Chad O. Jackson who's doing an entire documentary on the Marxist history of the Democrat.
I always thought his last name was Sowell.
No, it's Sowell. But then you got Chad Jackson right now is doing an entire documentary on the history of Martin Luther King being Marxist. Martin Luther King was entirely funded by a Jewish guy, a Jewish Marxist. His funding, all the funding he got. The NAACP,
isn't everybody funded by a Jewish guy? Everybody's funded by a Jewish guy.
All right, but then when you start understanding where Marxism actually came from and where Marxism originated. Like Marxism originated in Russia with the Bolsheviks when they tried to take over the czars. That's where communism and Marxism all started. It's all one. It's all one concept.
Hold on. Let me read some of the comments. Let me read some of the comments. Journey Mom said machines break down and need maintenance. Slavery lasted longer. From RGP. LOL. The fact that this is a question is crazy. Industrialization had effects going from like the 1870s to probably the 30s. Mr. RGP said, you know who was against slavery? Karl Marx. What's it called? Cohen's Auto said, slavery is what brought in the industrial age. And that's what I was trying to say. It's crazy to me that we can discuss how we celebrate patriotism and the foundation of what Christopher Columbus did without ever getting here. But you're saying slavery has nothing to do with how America got to how it got to. When I'm over here saying, I don't think America would have got past its beginnings without slavery, in my opinion. But
you see, you're misquoting me. That's not what I said. I said slavery is not responsible for America's wealth today. You're the one who made the statement that that the wealth we have today comes from slavery. That is false.
I didn't say it comes from. I didn't say slavery is the reason that we're rich today. I said slavery is the foundation of what led to America being what it is today. Without that free labor in the beginning, where we grew exponentially.
First off, how many people do y'all really think had slaves? Like, what percentage of the population do y'all even think actually had slaves?
It doesn't matter. The movers and the shakers.
Hold on. It does matter. It does matter because you're making these claims.
Made the country what it is now. The movers and the shakers who made the country what it is now. They had slaves.
Bruh, the movers and the shakers who made the country what it is now. First off, the whole North didn't even have slaves at all. So what are we even talking about?
The North didn't have
slaves. The majority of the slaves were in the South. The majority of the slaves were in the South in the plantation.
So you're trying to tell me the North didn't have slaves? You said the North had no slaves at all.
All right, let me rephrase.
Okay,
not that they didn't have any slaves at all. Not that they didn't, but they didn't have slaves.
Thank you.
They didn't have slaves to the degree that the South did. And what I'm saying is the majority of Americans did not own slaves. So to make this claim that the wealth in America or the foundation of America was slavery,
it doesn't matter because they all benefited from slavery though.
Only a small percentage of the population ever owned slaves.
The country itself benefited from slavery. The country itself.
Bro, the entire country did not benefit from slavery. Only two industries benefited. One industry, agriculture, and two crops, two crops.
And agriculture itself is probably one of the biggest.
You literally just read something that said agriculture is responsible for 50% of the economy, which means the other 50% of the economy had nothing to do with agriculture. So
50% is not 50%. It's half, bro.
50%, brother. Hold on. Half of the exports were from agriculture, but not all agriculture was from slave labor. So that means a small percentage of that 50% came from slave labor. You got to really think this through. 50%. The agriculture being 50% of the economy does not mean that 50% of the economy came from slave labor. That means that 50% of the economy came from agriculture, and a small percentage of the economy that came from agriculture was due to slave labor. That's what I'm saying.
Nick, it literally just said, Nick, it was honest and said that you were right about the industrialization. Right now, you're being disingenuous. Hold on.
I'm not being disingenuous.
Right now, I think you're being disingenuous to turn around and say that
What percentage of Americans own slaves? Google that. Google what percentage of Americans own slaves.
Google what percent of Americans own slaves.
What percentage of Americans own slaves?
About 8% of all American families own slaves. Hold on.
So
Do you
you're
know how
trying
much?
to tell me that
Hold on.
You're telling me 8% of Americans.
Hold on. Southern states, roughly 25 to 30% of white families in the South own slaves. Most slaveholders own fewer than 10 slaves. Large plantations with 100 slaves were rare. Northern states, slavery was largely abolished by the early. Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. Why it seems higher? The political and economic power of slaveholders was enormous. Even though they were a minority, wealthy plantations owners dominated Southern politics and culture. So back to what I was trying to say to you, the people who did own the slaves are the people who basically made America. Those people are the ones that's what I was trying to get
to.
Having
political influence in the South, having political influence in the South does not equate to you made America. That's not what that means.
Political influence in the South. Where were all the presidents from? Were they from the North in America?
I'm sure some were from the North, some were from the South.
Majority of presidents in the early inception of America are from the South. The people who create the people who had plantations are the people who had the money to create wealth in this country. They're the ones who made who.
But what does that have to do with anything? Which one of them presidents had plantations? The only ones that count are the ones that had plantations.
Hold on, let's look that up.
The only ones that would add to your point are the presidents that owned plantations of over 100 slaves, which what you just read said that was rare. It said the average slave owner had less than 10 slaves. So this idea that slave labor was somehow fueling the economy on a major scale is not true. But that is what you'll believe if you follow critical race theory.
Hold on. Okay. If that's what I believe, hold on, Nick. Presidents who own plantations: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, James K. Polk, Zachary Tyler. That's 10 right from the bro. What are you talking about,
10 presidents apply.
They didn't just have slaves. They owned plantations. Okay.
So 10 presidents apply to what you're saying. Now, how large were their plantations? How many slaves did they own?
Plantations wouldn't have 3 slaves. It's a plantation, Nick. It's a plantation.
But it literally just said what you just read said a plantation with more than 100 slaves was rare. So how many slaves do you think between all those presidents they owned?
Hold on, I'm about to look it up. Did they have more than 100 slaves?
Hold on. If every one of those presidents, hold on. But let's just say every one of them owned 100 slaves. If every one of them owned 100 slaves, that would be 1,000 slaves. If you telling me that you believe 1,000 people were responsible for the entire economy of the country, you're delusional.
I didn't say that. They're not the only ones who own plantations. I'm just naming the presidents who own plantations. They said they were rare. They didn't say that there wasn't a lot.
Right, but
rare in comparison to the number of people living. Hold on, Nick. Rare in comparison to the number of people living in the country. Hold on. Rare in comparison to the number of people living in the country.
Rare.
Okay,
rare,
hold
not
on.
common.
Rare does not mean and they said
rare
the number
means
100.
uncommon.
Just listen. Presidents with 100 plus enslaved people. George Washington had over 300 slaves. Thomas Jefferson had over 600. James Madison had over 100. Okay. Andrew Jackson had over 150. And that's not even including the other people who had plantations outside of presidents.
But that still would equate to less than 8% of the population that owned slaves.
And being that I just named presidents, right? I just named presidents who had slaves. Hold on. I just named presidents who had. Hold on. I just named presidents who had slaves, right?
Yes.
If I'm naming presidents who had slaves, and I'm telling you, yes, many people did not own slaves, but they still benefited from slavery in America as a white person. You're telling me I'm wrong?
So let me ask you this. What you're saying is that random white people who weren't wealthy slave owners. You're saying that they somehow benefited because John Brown had.
I'll tell you how.
Let me finish the question. You're saying because John Brown owned a bunch of slaves, that somehow means that John Smith across the way, who's not rich, somehow is benefiting from John Brown owning slaves.
Can I tell you now? I hear your scenario. I'm going to tell you how they benefited. Because when things were separated for whatever reason, right? When things stopped being. When slavery ended, right, and now black people started to earn. What did America do? Who received the biggest form of affirmative action?
Slavery? Are we talking about during slavery or when slavery ended?
I'm talking about how you. No. You still benefit from slavery after slavery is over. Please understand that. That's why I said it's the foundation.
How?
I'm about to tell you how. All the wealth that was built, all the wealth that was built up by the leaders and all that, right? that they weren't given to John Smith or John, Dick, and Harry before slavery was over, right? Now, when they decided, you know what, we're gonna free the slaves and all that, right? I was gonna ask you, who received the biggest form of affirmative action in American history? White people. All the benefits that these white people had, that they opened up to them and said, you know what, we're gonna make this easier for you to attain than anybody else. They're benefiting from the slavery that they're benefiting from.
How is that a direct benefit of slavery? I don't understand that. I don't understand the connection.
Hold on. How is that not a benefit?
Like you're saying because white people got benefits from America, you're saying that that's a direct correlation to slavery? It's not. That's not a direct causation.
They would not have the wealth that they have to give to white people for free, or they would not be able to give you these opportunities that they earned off the back of slaves. That's what I'm trying to say to you. They earned the opportunities that they gave to white people.
What opportunities specifically are you speaking of? What opportunities specifically are you talking about?
Every opportunity, the right to own a home, a plot of land, whatever the fuck it is.
My brother, white people were owning homes that never owned slaves. There are white people who never owned slaves that owned homes.
So you don't know about...
So, hold on, let me finish. If there are white people, remember, 92% of the population never owned slaves. And I'm pretty sure a large amount of those people owned homes. So how do you come to the conclusion that white people owning homes is a result of slavery? That correlation and causation doesn't make sense scientifically. There's no connection. There's no connection unless the wealthy slave owners bought houses for all the white people. That's the only way that would make sense. Unless they used the profits they got from slavery and said, I'm buying a house for every white American. And that's not what happened because because wealthy people aren't just friendly and giving away money to people because they're white. So if you're talking about reparations that the country gave, that came from taxes, which had nothing to do with slavery because everybody paid taxes, whether they owned a slave or not. So again,
all right.
You're conflating things, my brother.
I'm not conflating. I'm about to tell you. I'm going to tell you. White non-slave owners in the antebellum South benefited from slavery in several significant ways, even though they did not personally own enslaved people. Economic benefits: lower cost for goods. Slave labor made agricultural products like cotton, sugar, and tobacco extremely cheap, reducing prices for consumers. Job opportunities: while enslaved labor dominated plantations, white workers often found jobs in related industries: shipping, railroads, textile, and trade, all fueled by the slave economy. Regional wealth. Hold on, real quick.
You're saying white people were able to get jobs while there was free labor? How does that happen? Why would anybody hire anyone if all the labor's free?
Did you not? I'll reread it. While enslaved labor dominated plantations, white workers often found jobs in related industries: shipping, railroads, textile mills, and trade. All industries. Hold on. Let me read the last part of the sentence. All fueled by the slave economy. Regional wealth. Slavery created. I'm just reading you something, bro. Slavery created enormous wealth in the South, which funded infrastructure and commerce that non-slave owners used. Social status and racial hierarchy, psychological and social advantage. Even poor whites were considered above enslaved black people in the racial hierarchy, giving them a sense of superiority and social privilege. Political power, laws and policy favored whites, reinforcing systemic advantages even for those without property. Now, hold on, there's more. Political and cultural
I'll accept what you're saying. Now, my thing is this. So, if you're going to say that white people...
did non-slave people... Hold on. Don't move on.
Did free black people benefit from slavery as well?
Would you like to look up how many free black people... No, actually, they did not. They did not. They had some benefits from it.
The legal slave was owned by a black guy. The first legally owned slave was owned by a black man. That's a fact. So again, this is my point. Hold on now, Rich. This is my point about critical race theory.
I just gave you the racial context. I gave you the racial context as to why black people did not.
Critical race theory would have you believe that only white people ever benefited from slavery, when the reality is the first slave owned was owned by a black man. So clearly black people also benefited from slavery because there were free blacks and there were enslaved blacks. Not all blacks were enslaved. So my whole point is that slavery in that case benefited everybody.
Nick, what is critical race theory?
Critical race theory, you mean my opinion on it, or what is the definition of it?
What is
in my opinion, critical race theory is a propagandized version of history that makes people look at history through the lens of race. So instead of looking at, for example, instead of looking at slavery as a thing that happened amongst all type of people, instead of looking at slavery as a human institution, critical race theory will teach you that slavery is a white institution that was mainly inflicted upon black people, which is false. It's not a white institution that was only inflicted upon black people. Slavery is a human institution that has been inflicted on all humans, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Arab. All humans have experienced slavery in their history. But if you read American history, which is propagandized as a black person, you will be angry because it will lead you to believe that your people are the only people to ever be enslaved, thus making you feel like specifically like a victim.
What led you to believe? What led you to believe that critical race theory had anything to do with slavery?
I didn't say, critical race theory isn't only about slavery. Again, I said critical race theory was a propagandizing of history through a racial lens. So it's not just slavery. It's not just slavery. Excuse me. It's not just slavery. A lot of critical race theory is about history being told from the perspective of white people are always the oppressor and black and indigenous people are always victims. It's about the framing of history that makes it critical race theory.
Cool.
You understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying though?
I get what you're saying, and I'm about to, and that's your opinion. And I wanted to know, the reason I asked you about your opinion specifically is because I want to know where you got your opinion from, because from what I read about critical race theory, and after this I'm gonna have to cut it off. It's about to be 11, and I got work in the morning too. What's it called? And we could do this again some other time. We won't go live on the Keeping My page. You know what I mean?
I'm down.
Hold on. Real Coda said, "Love this convo. Y'all are both correct to a degree. I think where we go wrong with these days with arguments is going too far one way or the other and not respecting the gray areas." I agree with that.
That's fair.
But here's what critical race theory is. Critical race theory is an academic framework that originated in U.S. law schools in the late 1970s and 1980s. It examines how race and racism are embedded within legal systems, policies, and institutions rather than being just individual prejudices. Core principles of CRT. Racism is systemic, not just individual bias. CRT argues that racism is woven into laws, policies, and social structures, creating disparities even without overt prejudice. Race is a social construct. Huh?
No, I'm saying I agree. Yep.
Okay. Race is a social construct. It's not biologically real in terms of determining ability or worth, but it has real social and legal consequences. That's a real thing. Interest convergence. Progress for racial minorities often happens only when it aligns with the interests of the majority group. Storytelling and lived experience. CRT values the voices and experiences of marginalized communities as essential to understanding systemic racism. Critique of colorblindness. CRT challenges the idea that ignoring race solves racism, arguing that it often perpetuates inequality. So nothing
so based
in there.
On what you said, literally what you just said, it corroborates everything I said.
How? Nick?
Because it teaches through the lens. It teaches the lens. If I'm teaching you, think about this, Rich. If I'm teaching you that all history is based
not
off
all
of
history, American history.
If I'm teaching you that the history of your nation, if I teach you that all of it is inherently race-based, it's all inherently based on racism against brown-skinned people. What else are you going to believe if I teach you that?
Why is college not free why is college and healthcare not free in America? Why?
College and healthcare are not free in America because America is a capitalist nation, and healthcare and college are both private enterprises.
Do you know college used to be free in America? You know when it stopped being free in America?
When did it stop being free?
Once black people had access to it.
Bruh, if you believe
I'm lying.
If you believe that, bro, then I mean, if you believe that, my brother, Frederick Douglass went to an Ivy League school. There were black colleges. Mary McLeod Bethune started black colleges. This idea that if you believe that, then I don't know what to tell you, because that sounds like a critical race theory point. Black people.
I don't study critical race theory, by the way.
Black people. What I'm saying is, black people have been decorated with and graduated from places like Yale, Oxford, Harvard since the beginning of time. If you go back in the history of Oxford, you will see black scholars that went to Oxford. This idea that college stopped being free because of black people is fucking propaganda. College isn't free. College isn't free simply because America is a capitalist nation and you would have to tax people in order to make college free, and that's socialism. And we don't live in a socialist nation. That's simply what it is.
Okay.
College is private. If they wanted to make college free, they could, because they're private institutions. But these private institutions are choosing to charge for college, because they want to make money, because America is a capitalist nation.
Okay,
Simple as that.
I can't
And
argue.
honestly,
I can't argue capitalism. I can't argue. I can't
don't want
argue
education
capitalism.
to be free. Because if education was free, it would be shitty.
I can't
Look at
argue capitalism.
Look at the healthcare in all the countries that have free healthcare. All of the countries that have free healthcare, those people have to fly to America to get surgeries, because they end up on, like, if you need a heart in certain countries, you have to wait like 3 years to get on a list to get a heart. They don't have access to certain medicines because the doctor deems that you don't need the medicine, so they don't get the medicine, which is why those same people in those free healthcare countries are saving up their money to come to America to get surgeries, because we have the best doctors here because of capitalism. There's no money in the healthcare industry over there, which is why their doctors suck, and their people have to come here to get proper healthcare.
I'll tell you this. I was being a little sensationalized when I said what I said, but I'll tell you this. I
know you were.
Okay. Check it out.
Because
Because capitalism, like I said, I can't argue capitalism. Once you hit me with that, I'm like, all right, you got it. Now check it out. I will say this. I genuinely think that things would definitely be a lot cheaper if it was just white people in this country. I personally feel as though, like, and it's not because of critical race theory.
That negates your point, because you believe that, because you just said that slavery is why stuff is cheaper. So if slavery is cheaper,
I didn't say slavery is why stuff is cheaper.
No, you said earlier that white people benefited from slavery because it made the cost of goods cheaper. And critical race theory says that the country is inherently racist. So based off of that idea,
I don't think
that would mean that if black people weren't here, the cost of goods would go up because they're using us for cheap labor. Based off of critical race theory.
Wait, what?
Critical race theory implies that black people are inherently oppressed by the American system. So if black people are inherently oppressed by the American system, then that means white people are benefiting off of our backs. If white people are benefiting off of our backs, then things wouldn't get cheaper if we left, because that would mean that they would no longer have us to benefit off of, to lower the cost of goods. So either way, it defeats your argument.
I'm not talking about if we never existed in the country. I'm talking about like say right now, right? Let's say like granted, with capitalism, there's no such thing as going backwards. You're always trying to make more money. So we're just giving a hypothetical right now, okay? It's a very, very far-fetched hypothetical. Capitalism doesn't work in reverse, where it's like, oh, people left, let's make things cheaper because it's just us. I get that. Okay.
You know what would become cheaper if black people weren't here? Healthcare would become cheaper. Why would healthcare become cheaper?
Less people.
Because not less people. One. Number two, black people tend to have worse health than other groups, and so black people on healthcare are higher cost.
That's another conversation, because we get
people on healthcare. Hold on, the main killer of black people is heart disease, bro. Like let's not pretend that. So if the main killer
of black people, all the foods we eat is full of sugars, bro. If you're eating processed foods, if you're eating super processed foods, you can't afford certain foods. And we can get into that. Matter of fact, we can get into this.
I'm not debating that we eat processed foods, bro. But I'm just saying that essentially. Go ahead with what you're saying.
What I was gonna say is, because it's about to be 11 o'clock. I was saying to you, this is a great conversation, and with this needs to happen again. I enjoyed this.
I'm down.
And we had to talk about Venezuela and all that too, but time ran because I was trying to fix the show.
Man, we smoking that Maduro pack. You heard? Fuck this niggas talking about, man. Yeah, talking about Venezuela, man. We smoking that Maduro pack.
So the man's not dead to be smoking on a pack of him, bro. That's crazy.
He about to be.
Wow. Yeah, Nick. Everybody out there, we appreciate you.
We smoking on his whole regime. You heard? Big Trump. We smoking on that regime, boy. We freeing the Venezuelans, man. The Venezuelans, power to the Venezuelan people. You know what I mean? Gas at Valero about to be extra cheap. It's up. It's up.
Exxon
and Valero. You feel what I'm saying? It's America all day. You know what I'm saying? Again, Venezuelan people. I'm going to tell y'all this again. You one color away from making your flag red, white, and blue. We need to make them the 51st state. We need to expand America as big as we can expand it, because the world needs us, baby.
Hold that thought. We're gonna stay on that. And we need to expand America as big as we need. Cause the next time we talk,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna talk about them taking over Jamaica and how you feel about that. All right, y'all.
Listen, Jamaica
I don't want your
messed
answer. I
up.
don't want
We
your
need
answer
to
right now.
love
I don't want your answer
Jamaica.
right now. I don't want your answer right now. Yo, Real Coda said, I love this dude. All right, bro. I'm gonna holler at you.
Yo, later, bro.
Easy.